It is terrible timing for the SEC given the closeness to the discovery deadline in the lawsuit and the Commission's request to produce evidence that will buttress their initial allegation that Ripple, together with Brad Garlinghouse and Christian Larson, made $1.3 billion in unlawfully unregistered securities offerings. Another recent update in the case is the SEC filing a letter requesting the court to extend the rebuttal report deadline to November 12th and the discovery deadline to January 14th. Welcome back to Make Money Online. If you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on post notifications. We'll be right back after this.
GSX is an unprecedented financial asset that combines the best elements of a traditional investment with the backing of a stablecoin and the use cases of many of the largest decentralized currencies like XRP.
In the ongoing legal battle between the SEC and Ripple Labs, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has noted that the extension of the discovery deadlines will allocate both parties sufficient time to prepare rebuttal reports and depose a minimum of 14 expert witnesses. As the dispute over Ripple's recordings ensues, the SEC seeks a deeper insight into the events that transpired during the key Ripple meetings involving the fintech startup's executive chair, Chris Larson, and its chief executive officer, Brad Garlinghouse, in addition to other employees. The agency aims to use the requested recordings to prove that Ripple knowingly and recklessly marketed and sold XRP as an investment contract. This request from the plaintiff was initiated to permit the parties sufficient time to produce rebuttal reports and depose a minimum of 14 expert witnesses. Thus, the SEC has requested an extension that would complete the expert discovery as to Ripple within 11 months of the amended complaints filing and approximately 10 months of Ripple's response. Ripple had already consented to the extension of the rebuttal report deadline to Friday, November 12th, but opposed the extension of the January 14th deposition deadline. Before that, the SEC had submitted a letter response on Wednesday in support of its earlier motion seeking that the court compels the defendants to carry out a more definitive search of relevant video and audio tape recordings of the Ripple internal meetings to identify those conferences where the Ripple employees, especially its top two officials, had spoken about relevant topics, in addition to producing a more responsive document. Adding that Ripple's complaint of a late motion, given the end date of the discovery process was already nigh, is not valid since the company's misconduct had necessitated the move, as the defendant had failed to search its library of recordings properly and also failing to inform the plaintiff that it was withholding responsive recordings. The SEC had expressly sought the court's intervention as to the scope of Ripple's search for responsive documents since both parties could not reach an agreement. Furthermore, the SEC had denied ever going into any agreement with Ripple regarding the earlier submitted files. The plaintiff went on to assert that the reason for its initial motion to compel Ripple was due to the discrepancy in the requested data of recordings after it was later learned that the Ripple search was a defective one, as such nullifying Ripple's argument in its initial response, where the decacorn startup hinted about an agreement between the parties regarding the extent of Ripple's obligation to search for and produce recordings. Again, an assertion refuted by the SEC's initial motion for the court to compel the production of those recordings. And now the SEC's letter, filed alongside two exhibits to Judge Annalisa Torres, bears within it not just an extension of the discovery phase to a date not earlier than Friday, January 14, 2022, but also noted the defendant's opposition to the extension and rejected compromise to have the date moved to Wednesday, December 22, 2021. Whereas Exhibit A contains a proposed order, Exhibit B includes Ripple's refusal to consent to an extension beyond Friday, December 10, 2021. And now the SEC is accusing Ripple of not being compliant on multiple fronts. In contrast, the plaintiff has been non-compliant through the start of the fact and expert discovery processes, given Ripple had agreed to the extension of the rebuttal report deadline and refused to comply with the extension of the deposition deadline, following which the SEC proposed another deadline, which Ripple also refused. Instead, Ripple filed an opposition for the said date being Monday, October 18, 2021. Given this, Ripple had put up the claims that extending the expert discovery timeline further than Friday, December 10th, would conveniently provide the firm with sufficient time for both parties to complete a minimum of 14 expert depositions in 18 business days, referring to the possible interference of the briefing schedule for summary judgment motions by the Thanksgiving holiday. On the other hand, the SEC had objected to the assumption that the current phase of the lawsuit is not befitting for summary judgment motions as expert discovery has commenced with an incomplete evidential material. Also, in dissatisfaction to the Ripple responses to its actions to compel for the production of several fact discovery files, the Commission had noted that the magistrate in charge of the fact discovery phase, Judge Sarah Nedburn, had granted the SEC's motion to compel Ripple to produce these documents in August. Nonetheless, the defendant is yet to do so. Moreover, especially in the case of the movement to force the blockchain company to provide the court with over 1 million Slack communications between its employees, Ripple has also failed to produce those documents. Neither has the fintech startup been able to develop a timeline by which the production process will be complete. Adding to that, the plaintiff had indicated that the parties had a total of 4 pending discovery motions before Judge Nedburn. At the same time, asserting that even if one motion among those were granted, the parties would require an additional extension to proceed with the discovery process. Should Judge Sarah Nedburn contribute any pending motions to compel, the parties would need extra time to review and produce the requested documents at the barest minimum. Hence, the SEC's proposal for an extension of both the expert and the deposition discoveries is fair and reasonable given the circumstances. With all of this, onlookers are steadily going to assume that the SEC is trying to delay their inevitable loss with all of these outrageous demands. What is more confusing is that the litigator, who happens to be the plaintiff in the case, would be asking to delay the proceeding instead of the defendant. So the question here is, why would any litigant with unlimited resources like the SEC be dealing the delay card? Several thoughts might come to mind, but the most sustained is the idea that the SEC might have bitten off more than they could chew with this lawsuit. Thus, they're now trying to hide particular shreds of evidence that could come to light. Perhaps they're trying to buy more time to develop better arguments to sway the court's direction from the SEC's mischief. We all know that blockchain technology through cryptocurrencies is on the verge of exploding higher, and XRP will not be left out. However, considering this legal battle between the SEC and Ripple Labs has been going on for a while now, many exchanges delisted the digital asset from their platforms. Termed the cryptocurrency trial of the century, this lawsuit is believed by most to change the cryptocurrency space forever. However, the question on the lips of every XRP and crypto enthusiast is, could XRP flourish amid the lawsuit to end this bull cycle in grand style? What would the price of this digital asset once the lawsuit settles be? Do actual buy-ins pioneer the recent price actions for XRP, or are they subject to pump and dump? Is the case finally coming to an end? Well, more on that in our coming videos, so stay tuned. In the meantime, do let us know your thoughts, as we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on bell notifications. We also have a free Discord group where we share daily signals, and now you can also support us on Patreon. We have a special offer for our first 100 members, only $9.99 for our VIP Discord channels, where we share much more in-depth analysis and even one-on-one sessions. And make sure you check out the GSX competition for your chance to win big. Links are below, and if you have any questions, drop us a comment. And we'll see you next time.